Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Superman and Lois. This time we're on episode 2 of the show. The opening episode, the opening premiere, was a really, really fun episode, a really great introduction into what this series is going to be like and to what the characters are going to be like moving forward. And yeah, I'm still kind of unclear as to whether or not this is actually still part of the Arrowverse. Like despite still airing on the CW and being distributed by them, I'm still unclear as to whether or not it's still a part. It still kind of takes in from the Superman that we were introduced to within like Supergirl and the crossovers and everything. But either way, I think it seems like a fun show so far. It seems like a really fun show so far. But we were introduced to Clark kind of leading and kind of struggling to lead the kind of dual family life of being Superman and being Clark, and especially now with the addition of two teenage boys and stuff. So that was fun. I think it's Jonathan is the kind of excelling kind of athlete at school, and Jordan is the kind of social outcast with like social anxiety, and he's the one like struggling more to kind of be who he is and to actually fit in and stuff. So I think despite that, they still kind of established the kind of fun sibling dynamic that they're gonna have going forward. So that was fun to see. And I think about halfway through, they actually discovered who they really are. They actually discovered the kryptonite, no, the Kryptonian pod that Clark actually crashed to Earth in under the Smallville house. We lost so much happened. I don't know what order to go with this to go with these points in, but so much happened. We lost. We saw how Jonathan had died. Jonathan Kent had died in a flashback, and then in the present day, we actually had Clark getting called back to Smallville by the doctor, saying that Martha had actually had a stroke and that she died. So the entire family had to move back to Smallville for the funeral, and then one thing led to another financially, and they've both lost their jobs because Morgan Edge has taken over the Daily Planet. So now they've moved back into farming, and they've moved back to Smallville, and they're gonna reboot the Kent farm and see what's going on there. So that's fun. But we had Clark and Lois kind of coming back and reminiscing about old times and actually trying to fit their kids into the newer times and everything. And the kids, Jonathan and Jordan actually found out that their dad was Superman, and that that he had this kind of double life, and that Jordan is actually the one with powers. Jordan is likely the one with the powers. And he, I think going forward, I think it's going to be interesting to see, given who he's been set up to be so far. I think it's going to be interesting to see who he is, who he's gonna be now that he knows he's the one with the gifts. Like he's the one who protected Jonathan when the pipes fell on them. He had the laser eyes when he at the bonfire and everything. And they have a new friend in Sarah Cushing, Lana's daughter. They have a new friend in her, so that's gonna be a fun friendship to kind of watch as it blossoms and evolves and everything. So that's fun. And at the very end we had. I think people are still saying that's Lex Luthor. I think because if it really is a different universe, then I think they've recasted General Lane. General Lane is not the same guy as he was back in Supergirl, so I'm pretty sure the guy in Supergirl was General Lane. But either way, I think they've recasted him. So I think if this really is a different universe, they're going for like a different universe with a different same face of Superman, but different and Lois, but different versions of the characters. Then they kind of have less to worry about with recasting. So it could still be Lex Luthor, but either way, there's a guy who has his own ship called Luthor. The guy is called Luthor, not the ship, but like a ship with an AI, and he has like a super suit that can't be penetrated or destroyed by Superman's super breath or his laser eyes or anything like that. And he has his own kryptonite. He knows everything about Superman. So him being Captain Luthor, it kind of makes sense that he'd have that kind of intel. But who he is exactly and when and where he's from is more of a question that needs answering. So hopefully going forward we'll get those answers too. So I think going forward, I think the story seems more like it's going to be about integrating Jordan even into the new kind of super life now that he's the one with the powers, and also actually protecting Smallville and Kansas and pretty much the world from this new Captain Luthor guy. So I think he's still got that whole double life balancing he's got going on. I think even before he had kids, though, he kind of had to do that. Even before marrying Lois, he had to kind of protect one life using another and stuff like that. So it'll be cool to see how it all how it all continues going forward. So yeah, that is pretty much all I can remember from episode 1. It felt like a very long episode, but it was also kind of very fun actually seeing how everything meshed together and how like what kind of story and tone they were going for. So very much looking forward to seeing what the future episodes are like. But yeah, that is it. So on to episode 2 of Superman and Lois. This will be the highlight reel, as with all reactions. So if you guys want to catch the full-length reaction, the full unedited version, that one will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. But yeah, so on to Superman and Lois. Let's go.
Thanks for the help, Lois.
Yeah, no need for a ladder. No need for a ladder, yeah. I wonder what the extent of Jordan's powers are, like if it's just laser eyes or if it actually manifests over, because the thing is manifesting differently for him than it was for Clark, but is he going to get everything, or are there going to be some limitations? Oh, damn.
We need to stop Kal-El before he does to this world what he did to mine.
So he's not from Earth then? He's not for, like... Is he from the future? I get more future vibes than I do alien vibes from him.
Why do we need these big winter jackets?
Taking him to the fortress. Taking him to the fortress. Yeah, take him to the Fortress of Solitude.
Some people think it's tough to learn, especially if you somehow never got the playbook.
Somehow never got... Oh, they were behind that then.
Outside to the left.
That's the thing from the ship.
It's a sunstone crystal. Think of it as a computer drive that contains the entire history of...
So like the Codex from Man of Steel maybe, because that one had like the DNA of all the Kryptonians. Yeah.
Your family history begins in Krypton's second largest city, Kryptonopolis.
Kryptonopolis. Wow. Not the least bit on the nose there. Not the least bit on the nose.
This is your grandfather,
Jor-El.
the man you're named after.
Okay. Oh, so he named them both after. Okay, so Jordan, Jor-El, Jonathan, John. Okay, that makes sense. I don't know why I'm surprised. That actually makes sense.
No fighting.
Typical older brother. And Sarah's there. Please don't do a love triangle. That's all I ask. Please do not start doing some kind of love triangle between Jordan and Jonathan and Sarah. Don't. Let's not. Let's just not go down that path.
And you're... Oh, Chrissy Beppo.
Chrissy
Been
Beppo.
wanting to introduce myself the last
Cool
few
name.
days, but I totally chickened out. My editor doesn't shut up about you. You're like her idol.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That's pretty sweet. Oh, that's not so sweet. He's here? Oh, no. Oh, that's really not so sweet.
So is there a number that's more feasible? Because I would hate for what happened in New Carthage to happen here.
Yeah, the boys are just like,
Missing
Mom,
job
stop.
creation targets by nearly 50%.
The quality of this stuff is really amazing. It's really you can tell it's a HBO funded show. I think I said that last episode as well, but again, you can tell. You can tell. Yep. Oh, it's a great shot. It's a great shot.
You destroyed my whole planet!
Yeah, okay, I'm still calling it. He's from the future. He's from the future and he came back in time. He has the gear for this, for space travel. So he must have something else too.
People are gonna get hurt.
Oh.
Or them.
Oh, yeah, the classic superhero ultimatum. The villain or the people. Yep. Gotta be the people. Gotta be the people. Oh boy. Oh. That's a biggie. That was a biggie. Also a biggie. Also a biggie.
Hydrate. All right, Ken.
Okay, now I'm nervous. Now I'm nervous. Now I'm nervous.
Come on, let's go.
Oh, Christ.
Told you. You already got a QB.
Morgan Edge is a corporate vampire.
Oh.
Remember that Edge owns the planet.
You know what, babe? You do your Superman stuff and I will do my Lois Lane's.
Maybe corporate mosquito will sound nicer than vampire. Vampires are awfully vilified. Yeah.
His cells can only store minimal amounts of energy from the sun.
So his powers are limited.
But he's released an ocular blast.
Yeah, his powers are
Once,
limited.
And he's since then been unable to repeat it.
It was emotionally triggered, though. Yeah.
Precise human DNA is just too limiting. I know you wish for this, but he will never be like you, Kal-El.
Damn. I mean, it makes sense. He's half Kryptonian, half human. You know, kind of like Superboy from Titans. And he heard it all. He heard it all. Yeah. You know what? There's one thing the Kent boys are good at. It's actually having. He probably didn't even need superheroing for that. It's literally right around the corner. Yeah.
We moved here to be closer as a family. And we got invited to this dinner as a family, and we are going as a family. So get dressed.
Forcing them into an occasion like this straight after a row.
I heard your mother.
Or even an argument. I don't think that's the smartest decision. Yeah. But it's happening anyway. Yeah, definitely happening anyway.
You made it.
Found out I suck just as much as a Kryptonian as I do a human.
Mom, let's get some food.
You see, eventually things simmer down. They actually get to talking. Yeah, eventually.
He changed it. He changed my story. It's like a pro-Edge fluff piece.
Oswald did this?
No, Edge.
Oh, duh. He wants
Do this.
to make you write good stuff about him, not bad stuff. Oh, jeez. Bullets won't do anything. Bullets will not do anything. I wonder if it's like the Batsuit, if there are actually specific weaknesses you can exploit.
Get the power back up, Rossetti.
Whoa, whoa, okay, that was quick. That was very quick.
You have to help me see.
He's from the future. He's from the future. Oh. He's not in there, is he? He's not in there. It was a robot. It was a fake. So he's from the future of Earth. An Earth that got destroyed by Kal-El.
No clue. Everything I've done since the day you married my daughter has been for all of your protection.
Then find this guy. So I can finish this.
No, I don't believe that. It's a contingency. It's a contingency.
I know what happened in the barn. Those poles fell on us, and you saved our lives. So honestly, I don't care what some stupid hologram said. You're my twin brother. I know you better than anyone. You're different now. And if no one else is gonna help you figure out what that is, I will.
Oh, damn, the feels. The feels. Brothers united. Brothers finally fucking united. Oh, they get their own button. They get their own button. Like an ELT, I think you called it.
This wouldn't fix my problem.
It won't. Oh, she had a thing.
Oh, she's at the planet. Oh, damn. She gonna give Morgan Edge a piece of her mind. Yeah, she's at the planet. Time for Lois Lane to do her thing.
I didn't know.
What's this?
Does she quit?
That is the best writing I have done since you took over.
Ah.
He's going to crush you.
Let him try.
Oh, damn. Hell. Oh, jeez. That's not encouraging.
Challenge your beliefs.
7734. Oh, it's a code. I quit. Oh, yeah, okay, I figured, yeah, she was quitting. She was not gonna... She's gonna go to the Gazette, then. She's gonna go to the Gazette, where Chrissy Beppo works. She's gonna go to the Gazette. The Smallville Gazette. Yeah,
I'm the editor. Reporter, printer, janitor, sometimes plumber. Yeah, I don't know why I said that. I guess I just... Were you interested?
So she runs the whole Gazette?
If I publish this, she'll...
It seems this planet's Kal-El is not entirely like the one you've encountered, Captain Luthor.
Damn, there was a war. Oh, and General Lane was there. This is Black Suit Superman! That's Black Suit Superman!
He isn't like my Kal-El.
He gives him that key.
Not yet.
That's Black Suit Superman! Oh my god, okay. Okay. Oh, that was an ending. That was an ending. That was an ending. Black Suit Superman. Damn. That was very, very fun. That was very fun. Hair again. I need to get a pop filter for this because otherwise my hair is just going to keep getting in the way and my audio doesn't sound that great as of yet anyhow, but I need a bunch of different stuff for that. But anyway, back to the point, back to the episode. Yeah, so this was a very, very fun episode. So Jordan was taken to the fortress. He was taken to the fortress, as is most understandable. The fortress is pretty much like the only kind of Kryptonian place on Earth, both structure and intel-wise as well. And like structurally, it's Kryptonian, and intel-wise, it has all of the knowledge of Krypton. And he even had like that kind of that sunshine stone, like that sunstone thing he picked up from the actual pod. And he said that it contained the entire history of Krypton. So, I mean, that kind of reminded me of the Codex that was in Man of Steel, like the one that actually looked like the Superman logo, and then Lois plugged it into the machine and pressed it. I mean, like, I think that one though, I think that one was either exclusively or more predominantly using the DNA of Kryptonians. Like it actually stored the DNA of Kryptonians that Zod wanted to actually create more Kryptonians and to actually allow for more like Kryptonians to be born and stuff. So this one was exclusively with the history and lore, and we even got like a cool kind of CG, not as cool as the one from Man of Steel. The Man of Steel one actually has like a really kind of like a really admirable kind of uniqueness and kind of visual quality to it. But this one was like a hollow timeline thing that was playing out, showing off what Krypton's history was, like the classic stuff that we know about and everything, so that was cool. And yeah, and I honestly, I don't know why it surprised me when I heard it. I think like once I actually like I heard it, and then once I actually processed it in my head, it was like, that's cool. That also actually makes sense. Like Jordan being named after Jor-El, like his two sons being named after his two different fathers, one of whom was Jor-El, one of whom was Jonathan. I mean, Jonathan is literally like it's as human as a name you can get. You don't need to modify, you don't need to shorten it, you don't need to lengthen it. It's like Jonathan is named after Jonathan again, but like Jordan, I think. I don't know. I think it didn't really surprise me because again, that makes sense. Jordan is named after Jor-El, his other father, but then at the same time, it's like because it wasn't Jor-El, because I didn't really think about Jordan being derived from Jor-El. It didn't really kind of I didn't really think about it before it was actually revealed in this episode. But then even hearing it, I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Actually, it works out. It makes sense why he would do that. It makes sense that like it sounds similar to. So Jordan is the human interpretation of Jor-El, so it works. It very much works. So that was cool. But yeah, Jordan actually doesn't have everything. I think I was wondering from the beginning, from the get-go of the episode, I was wondering just how extensive or limited Jordan's powers might be in this interpretation of the story. And I mean, I figured it might start off small because of the fact that he is for one thing it's manifesting differently, but also because he's only half Kryptonian. Like Clark is literally Kal-El, Clark, whichever one you want. He is literally fully 100% Kryptonian, so he actually has the full extent of Kryptonian powers even under Earth's differentiational kind of atmosphere and sunlight and gravity and all that jazz. But with Jordan, he's half Lois, he's half Clark, so he is actually half and half. So I think. So I was wondering from the beginning, like how different would it be? Because I think the only other live action interpretation I'm actually aware of is what's his name? Superboy from Titans, but I think is Connor Kent. He is a clone of the combined, like he's the product of the combined DNA of Clark and Lex. So he's also half human, half alien. But I think because he's actually a clone and not like a natural kind of reproductive product, he had the whole kind of epigenetic memory thing going on. But I think even his powers, like he had strength, he had laser eyes, he had he didn't have flight, but he had super jump. I mean, in physical reality, he didn't have flight, he had super jump. That's how he saved Jason Todd from falling. But then I think in his own mind, at the end of season 2, in his own mind, when he was going to be freed by Dick, he actually did fly in his mind, and then he actually managed to free himself after that. So I think in reality, whether or not he actually has super flight, we've yet to see, or if it's actually just super jump, because again, half human, half Kryptonian, it would make sense for him that there'll be limitations. But for him, we've seen, I think we've seen laser eyes, right? Or is that from someone else? I don't know. I'm probably thinking of the heat vision we've seen from Crypto, because Crypto is fully Kryptonian. He's fully Kryptonian. But I don't know if we've actually seen any heat vision from Connor. We've seen the super strength, and we've seen bullet immunity. He's definitely bulletproof, and he has super speed as well. I think we like from the fight scene we saw on the Luther farm, he had that. He had super speed, super strength, bulletproof, stuff like that. So I think I don't know if he has heat vision. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if we've actually seen him using heat vision, but either way, he has his own limitations too. So I think, because I was wondering, like, because like that one physiologically, he kind of like, it comes from similar origins. So for Jordan, I was I mean, I like for Jordan, I went in expecting there to be some kind of extent or kind of hold back or something. So with this one, so I mean, I think the way that they're going could still very much be that there are limitations. Because I think Jordan even said that. I think Jor-El even points out that, from what you've told me, that kind of ocular release of energy has only happened once and it hasn't happened since. But then even then, like, that was emotionally triggered. He was literally seeing those guys beating the crap out of his brother, and then he was emotionally triggered to actually try and save him. And then the heat vision came in and blew up the fire and everything. So I think, I mean, I think going forward, the only way we might get extra normal bursts of power from him, be they heat vision or like a super push that just pushes the enemy, pushes the bullies or something, like 5-10 feet back, is if he's actually being threatened or if someone he cares about is being threatened. So I think to start off with, it's going to be that kind of obvious kind of trope of like, okay, emotionally stressful and traumatic kind of events kind of trigger powers and trigger him to be protective, especially like, like in the first episode when he fell from the ladder and then the pipes were coming down and then I think that was also like more of like a split second thing too. Like he saw Jonathan actually jumping on top of him to protect him, and then he saw that the pipes were coming down and he knew that Jonathan would get hurt, so then he turned around and then, like, he protected himself. I mean, that power, like super strength, I think super strength or like some kind of invincibility, I don't know if that one would be something that you can turn off. Like, I think it would just like maybe, he wouldn't really, he would definitely feel the pressure, but he just again, he wouldn't get hurt. So like from that one, very mild concussions were all they really contracted, no cuts or bruises or anything like that. So yeah, so I mean, different powers you can probably turn on and off, like the heat vision and the breath and everything. I don't know if you'll have that, but like the more kind of baseline powers like strength and speed and stuff like that, I think those ones will be. I mean, speed you can turn on and off, but still, it's like, he won't have to actually tense up or anything. Like, you just have to kind of just kind of do something like push a giant tractor or push like a car to see if you can push that like further and easier than like a regular human can. So he has limitations, but I think to see how these actually manifest even despite those limitations is going to be interesting to see. So yeah, it'll be fun. And I think, and especially like, like him going back to school now, it's going to be very easy, because then next episode we're going to see him actually coming up against those bullies again, because I think now we saw just how merciless they were on Jordan, on Jonathan, even like with the playbook and actually them playing football and everything. So, coming up against a guy that actually kissed his girlfriend, it's not going to be much easier either. It's probably going to go even harder on him. So that will definitely be the kind of situation that draws out his. I mean, hopefully he doesn't actually blast his lasers through their eye sockets or anything like Homelander. But I mean, he's definitely growing up with both sets of parents and a brother, so he definitely has the family that Homelander never had. But yeah, hopefully things won't be too bad and he won't have to actually exert too much power or come across as like some kind of inhuman. But we'll see how it actually goes down, so it should be fun. But yeah, I do like how that kind of like dialogue and that kind of relationship dynamic went. Like, there's the obvious tensions, and I think Jonathan especially, he like him being the one who excelled back in Metropolis, he was the one who was also actually living a life, actually had stuff going on, had an identity, had like things going on, and then because of all this happening, him and Lois kind of have to move back to Smallville, and just like they just kind of have to be okay with everything. So I think him pointing out, I mean, yeah, like him taking his anger out on Jordan like that, like it was actually kind of it was fairly understandable. And I think it's also an interesting direction to go too, just like the fact that like just because he's excelling in ways that Jordan wasn't even before he found out he was Kryptonian, like doesn't mean that his life is any easier. It doesn't mean that he's actually like having an easier time adjusting to Smallville stuff. Like he had to leave his school behind, his sports, his girlfriend, everything that was going on. And Jordan, especially with when he sees Jordan being angry just because he's not getting all of his powers in time or getting all of his powers under control, he just feels like, oh wow, that's like such like first world Kryptonian, like half Kryptonian problems. But the rest of us have like human lives that we're worrying about down here. Like he has that kind of mentality, which in the moment with the anger and the tension going on, it's understandable. And I think again, like in the moment, like like Lois still kind of forcing them to actually still go to the barbecue together as a family didn't really seem ideal, or didn't really seem like a functional plan to me. But I guess when you force them into that kind of social situation, when you force them into actually acting all kind of hunky dory around each other, they eventually kind of transition back into that phase. And I think what it shows is that it might not seem okay in the moment, but then it eventually leads into that scene that like they had it at the Cushing's house, and then they had it later at their own house, like like them two actually eventually kind of smoothing things over, and like that heartfelt kind of brotherly unity scene at the end too, like Jordan actually admitting that he wasn't as grateful to Jonathan as he should have been, and he's never really thanked him for being there for him and for sticking up to him for him and everything. And then Jonathan reassuring him that no matter what happened, like it didn't matter what Clark said or what Hollow Grandpa said. I love that they dubbed him Hollow Grandpa. Like that's such a fitting name. But it doesn't matter what they've told him. But like if Jordan believes that he can be a better Kryptonian than Hollow Grandpa or Clark says, then Jonathan will be the one to actually help him get there. So like that kind of unity coming together in the end, it was very well built up and very well paced, and it was like a very, very reassuring and satisfying thing to see. So I think it works. Those scenes, that relationship, it works. So props to the actors and the writing for that one. So I think I think that like those kinds of scenes and those kinds of kind of like build-ups and that kind of pacing kind of gives me a lot of optimism and hope for like how Jonathan and Jordan's relationship is going to kind of extend and play out throughout the rest of the season. And the show's already been renewed for a season 2 as well, so I thoroughly look forward to seeing what the rest of this show has in store. And I think it's just like like superhero siblings. I mean, off the top of my head, I can't really name any right now, but like I think even then it kind of goes without saying that it's not really something you see often in superhero media, like families you see, but like it's almost always more like found family, like people who come together for a cause and come together to fight, and then they find family, like familial bonds and love in each other, like on the way there. But then actual kind of biological families sticking together and like biological super families being together, and I think like that's like that feels like somewhat of like somewhat less of like an occurrence. So I think in this like in like media as well, seeing this happening like one brother who's half alien, one brother who's fully human, like seeing them mesh together, like they've grown up together, so it kind of makes sense. But at the same time, they're discovering all these new things and having to fit into a new environment and a new kind of society. So it's very reassuring to know that in the end they will always swear to have each other's backs and swear to kind of protect each other and help each other and stuff like that. So I think like looking at how Clark and Lois kind of approach dealing with the boys and handling them and actually reassuring them that like that's the kind of thing that that they would like to see too. So actually, I mean, whether or not Jordan and Jonathan will actually ever get that lovey-dovey in front of Clark and Lois is up for debate. But I think like behind the curtains, when they're actually alone, when they actually have some time to each other, it makes sense that more of the sentimentality would come out, and they'd actually kind of just actually push differences and bygones aside and actually be brothers again. So it's really cool to watch. And yeah, General Lane has the world's biggest supply of crypto. I mean, he didn't confirm that word for word, but he did say that it makes the rest of the world look short-staffed or short-supplied on kryptonite. So I think it's fair to kind of to interpret from that he actually has the world's biggest supply. And he said it was just like in case that in case Superman and his family came into danger's way to protect him. But I think to be honest, like knowing General Lane, I'd say it's all like I mean I think it's not fair to say it's a complete lie. He could be I think that is the kind of face value thing he says, like that is reason one as to why he has the world's biggest supply. But also I think knowing him, it's also likely a contingency plan. It's also because I think I mean I haven't read the comics, so I don't know what I mean I think it's fairly easy to kind of understand what the original relationship between General Lane and Superman may have been like. Like a hero like Superman comes along, and then General Lane doesn't immediately trust him, and he doesn't really immediately appreciate that there's suddenly this kind of superpowered person in the city doing all the protecting that the army's meant to be doing, and also this person. I think it reminds me of Batman's argument too. Like this guy, this kind of god level guy comes along, and he has the power to wipe out everything and to kill everyone. So if there's even a 1% chance that he could turn on them and destroy all of them, then they have to take it as a certainty. So I feel like, to begin with, and maybe even now continuing to, like, he's kind of adopted that mentality, and he's kind of keeping that kryptonite as a way to kind of keep him under wraps too. So like, like on the off chance that he actually ever does turn against them for whatever reason, from whatever cause, then he has to be ready to actually retaliate with some kryptonite and to actually take him down. Maybe not actually kill him, but to at least like restrain him and stuff like that too. So I feel like that. I feel like that's the main reason he has it. But then, like a side reason, like once he actually got to know Superman, once he got to know Clark, and once he finally accepted his and Lois's relationship, then it actually became a case of, okay, if someone ever actually, if something ever actually happens to the family, then he can use kryptonite. I mean, I don't know how that would work, because I think, like very few of Superman's enemies themselves actually have kryptonite as a weakness. So it kind of like kryptonite itself, it actually fundamentally works primarily against Superman. So it's not really something that works out in his favor. So don't know where that comes from, but I think that could also lead. I think again, it's kind of born from the trust issues. Like he's kept it around. He's kept it around for reasons that he won't ever tell Clark and Lois to their face, in like for fear of insulting them. But deep down, he still has that kind of mistrust that he's not like us. He's not human. He's not really. He doesn't really follow the same wavelength that we do, so he could turn on us at any moment. It might not even be of his own accord. He might be brainwashed into attacking us by someone else, so we have to be ready for any possibility. So he's keeping that. But I think it's like his own kind of contingency plan. But I think it also links into the Lex stuff from the future. So I think this Lex is definitely from the future. I knew I was right to call it. I knew I was right to call it. So he's from the future. Whether or not he's Lex Luthor is a question. He could also he could also easily be a descendant, because I think. Because if he's from the future, then Lex should look considerably older. So and he should also still maybe be a white guy, but I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's still, because I think them casting a black guy to play Lex Luthor kind of makes me feel like he could be like part of that same kind of lineage. He could easily have taken on the Lex Luthor identity himself after Lex Luthor dropped it or died, or maybe he died at the hands of Superman and then he went bad or something. But because I think. Yeah, and I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so then this Lex, I think he's definitely from the future. He's from the future, but he's also from an even darker future. He's from an even darker future where Superman does actually inevitably end up. I mean, I say inevitably. There's no signs of it yet. But even like he knows General Lane personally. He fought with him on the front lines of a war against Superman, like a war where Superman actually fought back and he took out the human race, and he apparently killed General Lane too. So. So that's where he got the keys. Like the keys, as like English, it reads hell, but then underneath it actually reads 7734. So it's actually like a code of some kind, and he gave that to past General Lane here, like the one who doesn't even know him yet, the one who he doesn't have that same relationship with yet. So he warned him. I think I figured from that point on, like I figured like something felt fishy. Like he wasn't there to kidnap he wasn't there to kidnap General Lane. He wasn't there to use him against Superman. He was actually there to warn him against allying with or fighting alongside Superman, because one day he will turn against you and he will kill everything you love. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's actually accurate, but either way, the future that he comes from is one where Superman somehow goes evil, and he's got the black suit. He's a black suit Superman. So I mean, I won't lie to you, right? I've been like the first live action version of the first live action black suit Superman we've seen is the one from the Elseworlds. In that one, he had a black suit. In that one, I think he wasn't even the real Superman. That was literally the doctor guy that the Monitor recruited in Elseworlds. He actually rewrote himself to be Superman, and he gave himself a black suit and everything. So that was the first black suit Superman in live action that we saw. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's the first live action one, because I don't know if he's actually shown up in the previous Superman films from way back when. But I think now I think like this week we're gonna get the Zack Snyder Justice League, the Snyder cut, and in that one we're definitely getting black suit Superman. So I mean, I won't lie, I've been wondering, like, what the significance is of the black suit. Like, if it literally is like a darker, more evil version of Superman. Because again, like, I think if you go by the Elseworlds interpretation, then it is. But then that one wasn't even the real Superman. It was literally, I can't remember what his name was, but it was literally that evil doctor dude who actually rewrote reality to make himself Superman and gave himself Superman's powers and stuff. But then in the Snyder Cut, we actually see that one too. And I think Superman doesn't really seem evil in the Snyder Cut trailers. He seems like he still fights with the Justice League. He still leads them. He still kind of fights with them. He just has like a different suit. And stuff. I mean, the black suit is arguably cooler. It looks arguably cooler. But I think the significance of the black suit itself, like, I think, I don't know if it actually inherently means that it actually belongs to it belongs to a more evil version of Superman, or if it's just like a darker suit that he has for whatever reason. I'm trusting that they will explain that in the movie as to why he actually has a black suit. Because I think the movie itself, like the Snyder Cut, is like, I think it's like 6 or 7 chapters long, and each chapter is like an hour or 2 long. So it's like a big series, which is, I guess that's only fitting. It's only fitting for the actual movie. So yeah. So that seems cool. But yes, I think I can't wait to see how they explore in the Snyder Cut. But in this one, I think this one actually seems like, like this one, Kal-El is actually wearing a black suit because he has become more evil. He's actually turned his back on humanity and he's actually destroying them. So that, like, this isn't the iconic, cheerful and hopeful and optimistic red, white and yellow Superman that we're meant to know. This is black suit Superman who's actually evil. So I don't know if I should look him up in case I spoil myself something for the, like, if I like spoil myself with info before getting to the Snyder Cut. But I think I might wait till the Snyder Cut to see how they do it, and then I actually might look up the black suit Superman from the comics and see how he actually differs and what he's all about. So yeah, because I mean, I still want to be like surprised by like motivations and history and stuff like that. Again, if they actually do decide to explore it. So I mean, yeah. So I think it should be fun in the Snyder Cut. But in this one, he is inherently evil. He is actually evil. He's turned his back and he's killing humanity and everything. So he didn't mean that in the future in the future, Earth is destroyed, like humanity is wiped out, Earth is destroyed. But then I think that also raises the question: what happened to Lois and Jonathan and Jordan? Because I think in Injustice here, I think in Injustice, Joker killed Lois, and then Superman killed Joker. So in that one, like, he didn't have any kids, but I think in that one, Lois was killed by the Joker, and then Superman killed the Joker in revenge. He literally punched his heart out and everything. So I don't know. I think it's not completely implausible to believe that he lost Lois and the kids too, and then he actually turned his back there. Because I think even in the theatrical cut of Justice League, like in Batman's nightmare world, he sees like a world that's been turned on by Superman. Like Superman has his own soldiers, he has his own kind of cult like soldiers, but at the same time, like in that one, he actually infers that Lois was taken from that someone killed Lois, and then he turns his back on the world like that too, and then he somehow has some followers, but for the most part, he is kind of his own thing. And I think in that one, he wasn't wearing the black suit; he still had the red and blue suit on. So I think in this one, that is the most kind of plausible thing. Like he may be. I think like Luthor's being lifelong enemies of Kryptonians and everything. I think it's not really, or it's also not implausible to kind of believe that maybe Lex had a hand in killing, like even if he didn't directly kill, maybe Lex killed, maybe Lex came back, because we haven't really heard anything about Lex in this either. There's mentions of Morgan Edge being like Lois's kind of nemesis, but there's been no mention of Lex Luthor whatsoever. So we have Captain Luthor, so I think I'm not completely pushing aside the possibility of this Captain Luthor being Lex, but there's also been no confirmation that he is actually Lex Luthor and not some kind of follower or descendant of his from his family tree or anything like that. But either way, I think he maybe likely had a hand in killing, because again, like Luthors themselves are inherently like distrustful and kind of hateful towards Kryptonians and towards aliens, but Kryptonians in general, and like Kryptonians specifically, and also more specifically Superman. So if this Captain Luthor came to understand who Superman really was and how Lex saw him, then he might try and inflict some kind of attack or damage against him, then he might end up actually killing his family. And then upon losing them, then Cal might not even care anymore, and he might actually turn his back on them. And he also might kind of focus more on the fact that, like the General Lane kept a stash of kryptonite to use against him, and he never fully had his trust or his kind of respect or anything like that. So then he might just turn on everyone and go Black Suit Superman and just scorch the whole place up. So I don't know. I guess we have to wait and see. But it does offer a compelling story. It does offer a very compelling story. Very compelling. And then like I said, Morgan Edge seems to be Lois Lane's nemesis in this series. So she tried to write a piece on him. She tried to write a piece on him that was true to her heart, but then her heart is dead set against his. So understandably, he wouldn't publish it. And also knowingly, when the opening line was that Morgan Edge is a corporate vampire, so he understandably wouldn't actually publish anything like that. So then she quit. She actually walked into that office. I think as soon as he said that Lois had a thing, I was like, okay, this has to be something with Edge, right? Because that's who she's been fighting this entire episode and pretty much since the season opened. So it has to be Edge. And then the elevator doors open. I was like, oh, she's at the planet. Okay, I didn't expect that much. But she went to the planet. She walked right into that board meeting and went up to Edge, and then also handed him a letter of resignation, like an official, like a letter that just said "I quit." I haven't seen Parks and Rec in its entirety. I think is it Parks and Rec I'm talking about? I think it's Parks and Rec with like Ron Swanson. Pretty sure that's a show. But it's the one where I think it's Ron Swanson. He's in the park and he is like, oh, don't worry, he's like, oh, don't worry, I have a permit. And then he just takes out a piece of paper and it's like, I can do whatever I want. Signed Ron Swanson. Like that. That's what that reminds me of. Just like one sheet of paper that just says, I quit. Sincerely, Lois Lane. But that was awesome. That was like instantly I was reminded of that permit scene. But she quit. She quit the paper. She was not gonna. I think, truth be told, she wasn't really willing to work there much anyhow with Morgan in charge. But then the further proof that she couldn't write anything that was actually true to her own words or her own heart when it came to reporting or journalism, then she really wouldn't be able to work there any longer. Anyhow, so then she quit there and she went to the Gazette. And I think this episode was pretty much leading to her joining the Gazette in one way or another. And Chrissy Beppo was a huge fan of hers, a huge fan. What I didn't expect was that she would be the only one running the Gazette. She assured Lois that like the editor of the Gazette would publish anything she wrote, but then she actually mentioned at the end, like, oh, she's the editor, she's the publisher, she's sometimes the janitor and the plumber and everything else. I think when Lois walked into the Gazette and saw how empty it was and how few desks and computers there were, I figured, okay, I mean, either it must be a really slow news day, or like not really many people work there, or maybe people work from home. But no, see, I mean, there have to be other people there, right? I mean, not to discredit Chrissy or to devalue her motive, her hard work. But I think it's like, can you really can one person run like a Gazette, like an actual newspaper publishing place? Like, is that possible? I don't know, but. I mean, Smallville itself is a fairly small town. It's not as big as Metropolis. It doesn't cater to as large of an audience as the Daily Planet does. Like that's like on the same level as Catco, which covers all of National City. So Smallville is Smallville. It's literally in the name. It's like a small town in Kansas. So it's like I think it's relatively. I think it's still hard for one person to do, but I think it's still kind of it like the kind of town's kind of low to mid population definitely helps. But now they have two people running it, and Lois is Lois, so she's going to help boost that Gazette right to the front page again. So that's going to be fun to see. But yeah, Lois quit the planet. And yeah, one little point I forgot to make earlier. So yeah, the Krypton's second largest city is called Kryptonopolis. I don't know what, like, it just seems so on the nose. It feels like they were trying to come up with a name, but it just they just really couldn't really be bothered. Or I don't know if that's actually if that's the canon name of, if that's the canonical name of Krypton's second largest city, Kryptonopolis. If that's really, because it literally doesn't. I mean, it's a city, sure, it's a city's name, but I think it literally just sounds like they ran out of ideas to get creative or make cool sounding names, and then they just took Krypton and Opolis and then put together like Metropolis. Like that actually sounds somewhat. Like in terms of actually naming a city something, and then Opolis, like Metropolis, sounds somewhat more unique and cooler. But Kryptonopolis, it just sounds like, okay, well, we're on Krypton, it's a metropolis, it's a tropolis and stuff. So just put a Kryptonopolis. There we go. We're now a city and everything. So Yeah, but I mean, Cryptonopolis, even saying again and actually looking back at it, it seems a little bit on the nose. But either way, if it works, it works. It's a city. It was a city. You know, we actually got the kind of, you know, like the run by of how Krypton's downfall happened. Like I think that story is fairly well known too. I think I enjoyed how they actually explored it in Man of Steel, like how they actually kind of went down in like two separate different flashback kind of their flashback styles of showing how the resources were depleting, but no one really listened. And then wars waged. I think in this one they say that wars waged, and that sped up Krypton's kind of decay and everything, and eventually the planet just went kaboom and stuff. So that was a fun bit of history. But yeah, that is pretty much it. That is pretty much all I've got from this episode. It was a very fun one. I'm very much enjoying how the series is going how this series is going so far. Only 2 episodes in, but those 2 episodes alone are like fairly good writing and visual. I mean visually speaking, there are some scenes that kind of definitely work to remind me that this is a HBO funded and HBO produced show. So that's kind of, you know, it's kind of like more hopeful, and it gives me more hope as to what the story might be going forward. But I can't wait to see what more they do with this and how they actually continue the story and getting to know these characters more and seeing how they actually fit into this new town life and everything. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Hopefully going to be fun. So that was Superman and Lois Season 1 Episode 2. So thank you guys as always so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Superman and Lois. Once again, if you guys want to catch the full length reaction, that one will be over on Patreon, so you can go catch that over there. And yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.